Hello, I'm back from a month holiday, and I played some Monster League during my trip. Not a lot because I was traveling, but I got a Shundo Tapu Bulu from my friend House Stark at New Orleans at the North American International Championship. So I'm gonna show you a video with me battling with that Pokemon. This is the team that I'm using. It used to be Zacian instead of Dialga actually, so Landorus double fairy, but I just lost too much to just the power creep of Master League, which is like Dialga and Mewtwo cores, and it was just too difficult to overcome. Even though Dialga isn't much better against Landorus, it at least presses some shields and does better against like opposing Dialga plus Mewtwo and that kind of Pokemon. A note about that Dialga, it's still very good in Master League, but if I had an Origin, I would definitely use it. That bulk is sometimes very clutch, and what's also clutch is not having the debuff from Roar of Time. So, but this Dialga still works though. So what does Tapu Bulu do? It lacks stats. It's not great in neutral matchups. I don't recommend the Pokemon, but it does actually tackle 3 particular Pokemon extremely well. And those are like powerhouses in the meta too. The first one is Kyogre. Obviously, grass on water speaks for itself. The other one is Palkia. You resist everything from Palkia, except Fire Blast, but like no one runs that, so that's great. Then the third one is a Pokemon everyone who doesn't use it hates. ZYGARDE. You wall ZYGARDE completely. 2 Nature's Madness normally take out with the Bullet Seed. Nature's Madness, signature attack for Tapu Bulu, has a 100% chance of dropping the defense, and it's really helpful. The ELO range of the battles that I'm going to show you right now are about the 2360 ELO. Before going into the battles, I just want to point out this is a full Shundo team, and the way I got these is doing stacking lucky friends that from like people that I met all over the world, and then doing those lucky trades at regional or international championships. You can see these are all from the United States. I'm from Europe myself, so did those trades there, got the Shundo Pokemon, and yeah, just my advice if you want to get some Monster League Pokemon. You can also see the team on the right with the moveset. Let's go into the first battle. My first match is the Landorus Mirror. If you see a Landorus, the first thing you should think of is Palkia. And the opposite as well. If you see Palkia, there's probably Landorus in the back. It's a very good core, a very annoying core. And I always play this out different. Sometimes I even bait here. This time I went for Charge Tech Purity. In another battle, I didn't throw immediately because I wanted to make sure they didn't catch. And this time they could have caught, but they didn't, so it's fortunate. And now I'm not going to throw immediately. I want to make sure they don't catch something like a Dialga, which would be annoying. So yeah, they must have like Kyogre answers in the back. That's the main thing that you need to keep in mind when you see a Landorus lead. Luckily, very few people shield here simply because no one wants to end up shielding a potential Sandsear Storm, which would do nothing but also drop your attack. This is a misplay by myself, because I need to keep this energy in case there is a Solgaleo or an Necrozma in the back. When you see ZYGARDE, you need to keep in mind it's very commonly paired with a Solgaleo or nowadays the Steel-type Necrozma, the what's it called? The Duskmane. They have Origin Dialga though, so this is very fine. Tapu Bulu is incredibly strong into ZYGARDE, and my opponent had to swap out. Even though ZYGARDE is not exactly the worst into Dialga, we have Earthquake to hit back, and you're super bulky, so you have the time to get there. But he was debuffed, so in that sense, my sense system was a little bit helpful. If they stayed in with the ZYGARDE, I may have been a little bit in trouble, but luckily they swap out. I think they can all farm me down, and this is fine. I'm gonna catch the energy on my Landorus. Now, Bullet Seed from Tapu Bulu is double resisted, so I might not be able to farm down before they get to an Iron Net. But luckily, they're so low, they're like, oh, I need to swap out immediately to prevent a farm down. I may not have been able to farm them down. Now, this gives me time to get to come out with another attack against this ZYGARDE. Nature's Madness is exactly 50 energy. Means I can stack 2 attacks. You never want to build up to 2 per se, though, because with Bullet Seed, you usually go like over 100 energy with it, even though if it's like I think it's 4 energy for if you do like 8 Bullet Seeds, but still, it's just inefficient. I like inefficiency, right? Gonna go for Nature's Madness. You see I have another one stored, and this will seal the deal because they don't have another attack. Everything that ZYGARDE has, Crunch, Earthquake, Outrage, they're all resisted or double resisted even on Tapu Bulu, so it makes the great answer despite its low stats, so that's a good game. The next lead is gonna be an interesting one because this is kind of annoying. You can win the 2 shields here if you bait the Sandsear Storm on the first attack here. However, I'm going to go straight Stoner. So at this point, I already have given up on the 2 shields. I don't really care for the multi-shield scenario here, simply because I expect Kyogre in the back, and I'm just strong against that in the back. Gonna let this go. I win the 0 shield as well. A Sandsear Storm should knock out at this point. I could also choose to play the 1 shield, but I'm just gonna let this go. I win switch here or a shield advantage. If they went for 2 shields, it could have actually been annoying because I don't really have something to knock it out real quick. And this becomes scary now. Landorus with energy is very scary into my backline. Because Tapu Bulu is okay there, but it's not like great. Gonna go for a Sandsear Storm bait. I thought they would shield that after losing 1 Pokemon. And this will cost like 50% of the landers, but no, they no shield, crazy. And then they bait the Sandsear Storm. In fact, they go straight Sandsear Storm on my Tapu Bulu, and they are double moved here, so no idea what this disrespect is. Also slightly underleveled Landorus. So I don't know how this ends up here, really. Gonna go for Nature's Madness. I'm kind of getting scared now, because if it's like a ZYGARDE in the back with a shield down, might not be ideal. I need to keep a shield in case it's like a Palkia on the back. Otherwise, Space Rand will knock out my Dialga. He goes for Stone Edge now. Now I swap out. Because his defense dropped, my Dragon Roots would do less, and he wouldn't get to another attack here. You see here, I have Thunder on Dialga. I TM'd it off after. At this point, like, I just Dragon Breath everything down. Should be very fine this now. My opponent kept 2 shields for the Garchomp, which I don't really find the Pokemon to keep 2 shields for if there's a dragon in the back, or potentially a fairy. But yeah, we take it. We Dragon Breath down and win a battle like that. So Nature's Madness, pretty nice for dropping the defense and just scare my opponent like that, because they would not be able to get to a Sandsear Storm on my Dialga because of that. This battle is gonna be a rough one, because I have 2 Pokemon that are better here, and I expect something like Necrozma, Solgaleo with a Zygarde lead. So I swap in Dialga, hopefully baiting out the Solgaleo or the Necrozma, but I bait out the Landorus. I don't win switch here, but Dialga is a little bit better here than the Zacian I had first, because I wouldn't even pull a shield otherwise. I'm gonna go for an Iron and not even bothering with the Draco. They have to shield anyway. So actually, I'm not sure if they may have, because like a debuffed Iron Hand wouldn't do that much. I actually may have taken that, but either way, we come back in with my own Landorus. This is actually super bad. Yes, they're down a shield, but I don't want to invest any myself. If they have like a Dialga in the back, I might be able to sweep with Tapu Bulu. That's what I'm hoping for at this point. Getting Charge Tech Purity, which I lose as well. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. They're not like, that's just a 50-50 because we're both on though. I'm gonna go for Nature's Madness here. This is still playable. But because that Landorus is a little bit too healthy, I still need a full charge stack on that. And that actually is going to be very rough. Nature's Madness is going to do more damage every time, because it drops the defense by 100% chance. But I have to shield all these Iron Head. You see here how low the HP of Tapu Bulu is, really. Because those Dragon Breaths are double resisted, but Tapu Bulu has low HP. And yeah, I'm going to go for Slide on charge to get the bullet seed down. It's actually magnificent here. But Landorus is still there. And it's actually going to cost me now, simply because going for the Nature's Madness here is going to be shielded, and the Zygarde is full health. My win here is if he Stone Edges and I shield it, but I'm gonna call the Sandsear Storm. It is a Sandsear Storm, which is a very obvious bait, because then 2 Nature's Madness definitely won't knock out the Zygarde. So it's a very smart play by my opponent, regardless of me shielding it or not. Zygarde comes back in. Tapu Bulu is so good in this matchup, but not with like 15% HP left and attack dropped. You see here, it will drop the defense. I'm just gonna see how low I can get this Zygarde at this point. I'll go for another one. I think without a Sandsear Storm, if I shielded Stone Edge, maybe I would have won, but who knew that my opponent would go for the win con. Well played. This next battle that we're going to see is a pretty ridiculous one. You'll see soon why. I've noticed it more and more in these battles. So, remember how I threw immediately the Stone Edge earlier? This time I don't, and it pays off because my opponent tried to catch on a Zygarde, which would have done no damage, but I'm not having any of that. I'm just going to trap this with my Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is so good, is magnificent in this matchup, because everything is resisted or double resisted. I take very little damage here. They go for the Crunch, which doesn't have the same type attack bonus. Makes me think they have like Outrage maybe, or different kinds of coverage. And this Nature's Madness, I'm actually going to uncharge it a little bit. It would knock out, I think, if I fully charge it. But because I'm already in Stone Edge range, or about to be, I don't really see a point in not taking that damage and farm up a little bit more. So that's only better to pressure that Landorus. Otherwise, the Landorus could farm up more energy. I don't really want that, so putting my opponent in a tougher spot. I have so much energy on my Landorus, about 99, and this Stone is going to drop the HP a lot. They let it go. There's no shielding everything so far. Farming up more, I outpace to another Stone Edge. Gonna just go for it. See, they try to call a bait. See, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean. My opponent just no shielding everything. They have to deal with another Pokemon of mine in the back. At this point, I think their only win condition is me having a Groudon in the back, and I think I would still win it if I just go straight Sandsear Storm here. They just no shield everything. I don't know if that's like, at this point I'm just trolling. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna debuff you. Just gonna, I know they no shield, they're gonna flex, but whatever. Well, flex, I mean, they lose, so bad flex. But I've just been running more and more into opponents who just no shield everything. Who are you watching? Those are not my followers. That there's because there's no shot. I like to win my battles, and there's just people out there just no shield, playing the no shield game. They just don't use shields. Well, congrats, you achieved nothing. You shield the Landorus, maybe you had a chance. Yeah, nice boost you got there. Does nothing for you. Good game, I guess. I'm actually molding these kind of opponents. All right, my next battle, Landers into Ho-Oh. So before going to this was the kind of battle where I was, in hindsight, I was like, wow, well played, sir. You are not going to guess what he has in the back. This is not your typical Ho-Oh, Mewtwo, Dialga team. Let's take a look. I don't hate this as the Landorus, really, because I have an attack that can take this out on one attack. So I sometimes bait here. I noticed that most Ho-Oh shield it, but it's so punishing if they don't. So, you know, I'm making a GBL video right now. I'm super serious battler. My opponent, a little bit of bad timing here. I sneak an extra mud shot that wasn't exactly necessary. You should just do 3 incinerators, and then after that Stone Age, you throw 1 incinerator and throw your Sacred Fire. That's just the way to go. You don't give away many turns. Anyway, I just go straight Stone Age here. I know I get to another attack here. They go for another Brave Bird. I think the Brave Bird was okay from them. Stone Age would take him out anyway. And, oh man, here I fall into the thirst trap that is throwing the Sandseer Storm into the Dialga. But I kind of have to, because I cannot swap my own Dialga into when there's no shields in play. I maybe should have, though, because I'm not sure if they would have gotten to the Roar of Time before Dragon Breath down. I think they would have. That's why I went into my TAPU BULU here. But they get Charge Security, which is so awful. I think Nature's Matches may have knocked them out. Maybe barely not. But if it would have, I actually may have been in a pretty good spot, because the Ho-Oh wouldn't be able to farm down before I get to Nature's Madness. Now, then Ho-Oh will farm me down. Only gets 1 Incinerate, but it gets him closer to a Sacred Fire. My Landorus has no energy, so it's kind of useless at this point. The defense is dropped, which makes it more bearable for my Dialga. But he will be able to get to a Sacred Fire into Incinerate. So, we have to do some Hocus Pocus. Catch! Maybe. I feel pretty confident, though, because shields down, Dialga is so good. I'm only like... Oh, I'm actually laughing at this point. It's a Tapu Koko in the back. My opponent has no respect for Landers, but look at how the way they handle it. They take 2 shields with that Ho-Oh. Incinerates get it so low, especially after Incinerate buff. It just does so much damage on the fragile Pokemon that is the Landorus. And then they swap in Dialga, just take the energy, sack Dialga, and clean up further with Ho-Oh. I found it absolute genius. They come back in with Ho-Oh, but 1 Incinerate will take me down. Wouldn't have gone to a Charge Stick anyway. I would say the Tapu Koko made any difference there. It could have been anything. Maybe any other fairy at that point. But I respect it. I love it. I've used Tapu Koko myself. It's really just to trap like Palkia. I think Tapu BULU does just a little bit better. But I respect it, and it was a great game. So yeah, that was some Shundo Tapu BULU play. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.